Hey everyone, welcome to the June edition of my Buy It Now sale. Used to be an auction, but with the Buy It Now prices, everybody's been scooping them up for that. So we'll just call it what it is, a Buy It Now sale. And, for those of you who have never seen this before, I'm pretty good at eBay. I can sniff out a deal really well, and I've gotten a lot of my collection at really good prices. The thing is once you have the notes and you still have the ability to buy stuff and find stuff at a good price, it's still fun to do. Shopping on eBay is, I don't want to say, hunting on eBay is really fun for me. I enjoy doing that. Every weekend I go scrolling through looking for stuff, and I still manage to find incredible deals. So I tend to pick them up and I bring them to you guys so you can see some of the notes and own some of the notes that I show for great prices. Um, I'm going to show a note. I'll tell you what it's worth. I will show it so you can see it in detail, and then I will put out the buy it now price. In order to buy the note, all you have to do is leave a comment down below with whatever item number that you wanted. You can put BIN for buy it now, and then the number of the item. The first person who comments for each item, that will be our winner for each item. How do you pay? Well, here is how you pay. I accept PayPal and Zelle. You can go through stupluback at msn.com in order to pay through PayPal and Zelle. I also have Cash App. You can do $stupluback at Cash App, or you can do check or money order. Make it out not to Stu Pluback, but to me, Steve Plebanek. Send it to P.O. Box 171, Russell, Illinois 60075. So those are the ways that you can pay. I will contact the person who is the winner of each item. I will reply to theirs and let them know. And then you can send me the info on what payment to look for and your shipping address, and I will get those out to you. Now, as far as shipping goes, I cover shipping. The price that you pay, that's it. That's all it is. I cover everything else, and I will get it out to you. Now, unfortunately, this is only open to US and Canada. Sorry, everybody else. If it was eBay, I could probably do the world, but much harder to do this way. So just US and Canada for this stuff. All right, so let's get things started. This week, I have 6 items, and technically 7, but 2 of them are combined. Let's get this thing started. Item number 1 this week. This is a specimen note. This is from the American Banknote Company. It says series of 1929, and this was a specimen note that they produced to for the government to show the kind of detailed work that they could do. Now, the paper on this is not correct. It's just regular paper. But what is correct is the way that they did the printing itself. If you take this out of the sleeve, you can actually feel the printing on there on both sides of this note. Now, this is the complete opposite of how our notes currently work, which is where whatever side is the front of the note is generally done in all black ink, and the back, which is, and this is done in black ink, is actually done in green on our notes. So it's interesting to see the green front and the black back like that. As far as condition, this note is in really good condition. It does have the common roller marks, one in black, one in green, that you do see. This one has just a little bit of green on the back, but you can still see the black there. This specimen note was designed to show how intricate the American Banknote Company could do with the swirls, the close lines. At a glance, this looks gray, of course, but when you look in, it's just a bunch of lines really close together. And that's what this was. It was a specimen note to show what they were capable of. I do not believe this was a 1929 specimen, even though it does say series of 1929 on it. I usually see these for anywhere from $100 to $150 at shows when they are graded, maybe a little more. But with this one here, I am looking to get $85. $85 is the buy it now on this particular one, and you can add one to your collection. Now with this one, I will also mention that I do have one of these for sale on eBay, so if someone does scoop this one up for $85, there is one on eBay. I think I've got it listed for $99. So if you really want one of these and someone scoops this one up before you can get it, there is my eBay listing for that one. So that one is number one, the 1929 American Banknote Company Specimen Note. Number two, I brought out that 1917 $1 legal tender, series of 1917, the $1 legal tender. This one is also known as the Sawhorse, and you can see on the back the giant X there. That is the Sawhorse pattern, the two boards crossing each other so that you could cut lumber. That is known as the Sawhorse. This is the Teehee and Burke signature pattern, and it is a little bit, it's a little bit darker. Yeah, so it has been handled just a little bit. You can see it does have very light staining here, a little bit of soiling. There's a little bit of red here, very little. I'm not calling this an ink error. I'm going to assume that these little bits are just, probably from a wet marker being too close to it. But overall, see here, you can see where the actual color of the paper is versus a little bit of the staining that's on there. So let me just give this one a quick look. You can see the corners are pretty good. With the light coming through, you can see that it does have some creases here. You can see creasing here. You can see that there has been handling on the page. So this is not an MS-65. It is not a 65 in any stretch of the imagination. Realistically, this one is probably in that 20 range, maybe, I'd say. I'll go over the front of this one real close. Once again, it's just a cool vignette of Columbus discovering land, and you can actually see the land in the background there. But yeah, I'm just going to go over this so you can take a look at every little nook and cranny of this one, so you know exactly what you're getting. Very, very light fold over in the corner there. Overall, it's a decent note. It's a good example of the note, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to say that this is an uncirculated version. When you look at the back of the note, that is usually where it's much easier to see all the creases and stuff. So let's take a look at the back. You can see the detail, a little bit of damage right there. But yeah, it's a circulated note. Most certainly circulated note. And once again, just trying to make sure that you can see everything about the note. There we go. Now this one, the 1917 legal tender, the Sawhorse. This one, if it was an 8, it's FR36, by the way. If this was graded an 8, you're talking $80. It's much better than an 8. In a VF20, it's $150. So that's your parameters there. In a VG8, $80. In a 20, it's $150. And it's somewhere in between there, I'm sure. Probably in the 15 to 20 range. Maybe it gets a 20. Maybe. Anyway, with a 20 being $150, I'm not asking that much for this note. If you want to take this note home, you can have item number 2, the legal tender, for $95. $95, and this one is yours. That is item number 2 this week. Item number 3. After doing all of my star research, I couldn't help but include at least one star this week. I pulled out this. This is a Series 1928B $1 silver certificate, and it's a star. You get the large star. They were all filled in at the time. Star notes, as you guys know from watching my video, they are done. I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be seeing them anymore. So yeah, finding stars is going to be tougher, and finding the old stars like this, well, I'm pretty sure that you're going to see a bump in the price on these. Now, this particular one, like I said, is from 1928, which is the first series. Now, this one happens to be the 28B. So 1928 was the very first series that was done in the small-sized notes. So to have a star from 1928, that's pretty cool. We'll look at the back of this one. You can see it does have some damage to it. You can see very hard fold here, very hard fold this way, fold here, and substantial handling as well, not to mention the dirt. like I said, looking at the back of the note, and that's something you guys should do too. Whenever you are looking at a note on a screen, if they show an image of the back of the note, that's always going to show the damage much more clearly than the front of the note. But even so, this note is not perfect, but it is what it is. It's a 1928 silver certificate star note. And star notes, they're hot right now. This one is FR 1602 star. And in a grade 8, this is $75. In a 12, it's $150. In a 20, it's $225. I'm not trying to say that this is a 20. I'm not even saying it's a 12, but those were the prices. An 8 is $75. I think it's probably a little better than an 8. Like I said, 12, $150. Not to mention the fact that the demand on these is going to be going up. So what am I asking on the 1928 silver certificate star? Item number 3, the buy it now price is $125. $125, and this one is yours. Like I said, I'm sure the demand is going to go up on these, and now's the time to pick one up. So that one is number 3 this week. Number 4, I have a pair of notes, and these are both 1990 $50 small head notes. Now, they are not sequential, but they are close. They're both from H, which is St. Louis, and you can see the serial numbers H1388453 and 38. Those are the two numbers. Now, they aren't sequential, which means if you want to get rid of one and keep one, you can. You're not required to get them both. But the reason why I'm selling these two together is because, generally speaking, when you have notes that are sequential, it's because they haven't really been circulated. Whoever got them from the bank kept them together, so that means there was only one owner. These notes, there are a couple missing in between, but these notes have been together essentially since they were printed, which means, condition-wise, they are really nice. Let me set this one down. It is slightly off cut. It is not worth anything because of that. But condition-wise, yeah, these are uncirculated. And you're going to notice this right here. That is a little bit of wet ink transfer. Once again, does not add anything to the value. It does just show how well the back itself is embossed. And here, if you look here, this is not dirt. This is wet ink transfer from the other side. So when these notes were actually, I say embossed, imprinted is what I should be saying. When these notes were printed, they were printed heavily. They have great color to them and are just in really nice shape. Both of these notes, like I said, together like that, knowing that the numbers are so close together tells you once again that these are virtually uncirculated notes. These would easily grade in the 60 range, whether it's a 60, 65. It's not going to get 65 because it's off cut like that, but these could easily get a 64. Now, these two notes, in a 63 in the book, these would be $85 a piece in a 63. Is that what I got there? Yeah, $85. This is FR 2112 or FR 2124, and like I said, $85 in a 63. These are going to be right about there. If these were circulated, they're just face value. But to find these uncirculated, the book says $85. So $85, the two notes together, that would be $170 for the two, is what the book says it is. And I'm not asking that much for them. You can have these you can have the pair of these, including shipping, for $145. So $145, that is item number 4, the two small head 50s, almost consecutive. Once again, I don't care that they're almost consecutive, and if anything, it's better that they're not consecutive, because now you can sell one, keep the other. So that is number 4. Number 5. I was really excited when I was the high bidder on this one, because I knew that you guys would be excited to see one of these in my auction. I want to say this might be the first time I ever had one of these. Uh, I've had gold certificates in the past, but never large size gold certificates. This is a 1922 $10 gold certificate. This is the one that I showed in my video about 2 weeks ago. $10 gold certificate from 1922. This one does have the teller stamp, and if I just rotate it this way, the teller stamp says 1926. Now, technically, a teller stamp is damage to a note, but that's just so cool to see a teller stamp from 1926 on that note. I'm sorry. That gives this note a little bit of character. Not in saying it's increasing the value. I'm just saying it has character. This could very easily just be a gigantic rust spot. But instead of a gigantic rust spot, it says something with the year. So given the choice of damage to a note, I would much rather have a teller stamp, especially one that includes the year. Anyway, this particular one, not perfect. Once again, look at the top. There is a little bit of roughness to the top. For those of you who saw my Technicolor note, you've seen what a note graded 12 looks like as far as the top portion like that. And look at the back of this note. Is it perfect? No. There's the hard crease. You can certainly see the hard creasing here throughout. But you can still see the orange, the goldfish orange on the back of this note. So you do get to see the color on there, even though it does have some of the damage like that. Once again, if you've seen my Technicolor note, the back looks nowhere near as good as this particular note does. And it does show the same kind of markings like this on the top edge. I think mine's a little bit more substantial. So if my Technicolor in a very similar condition to this, maybe a worse condition than this, grades out at a 12, you can easily see how this one could be a 12, if not a 15. This one is number 5 this week. It's FR 1173. And this one in an 8 is 135. In a 12, it's 175. And in a 20, it jumps up to $325. So the big question is, what am I asking on the $10 gold certificate? What I would call the Charlie Brown note. This one, like I said, probably a 12 based on everything that I have seen. And in a 12, it's 175. So my price on item number 5 is going to be $160. $160, and the gold certificate is yours. That is number 5. And finally, number 6 this week, I pulled out a Giori test note. Now, this is from the Giori press. The Giori press is a new press, or at least it was a new press at the time. And what it was known for was the ability to print 2 different colors at the same time. Normally, you'd have to run a note through twice. Now, this is not an example that shows the 2 different colors. This side is the more common version, which is the back engraving of the note. And some people call it a 1 because it's got 1 here in the corners. Some people call it a 5 because it's got the 5. It's got the Lincoln Memorial, which is on the back of the 5. Now, what makes the Giori test notes so impressive is that they used portions of actual plates when they were doing these test notes. And technically, it's illegal to have anything printed with actual plates. I mean, that's from the plate. This is from the plate. So it was actually illegal to own these up until, I want to say, 1996. And then they finally designated these as collectible. Now, the Giori test notes, this one is supposed to be blank on the other side, and if it was, that would make this the most common version, which sells for between $150 and $250 on average. There is the front portion, which has 3 different presidents. That one is $250 to $350 or somewhere in that range. There is a brown stamped version, which I've seen for $300 to $500, and then there's a 2-sided version that can be $600-700, and then there's even one that's got a serial number example, which is close to $1,000. This one here is graded. It's graded very Choice New by PCGS, and it was from the Edgar L. Pigman Horde. But what makes this note special is the back, okay? This is supposed to be a blank back, but it's not. It actually has the... I don't know if it would be called a wet ink transfer or not, but you can clearly see on the back that there is inking on there. It's not the light coming through, it is the actual ink. Now, if I look at the front, they do designate it as a full offset on back. Generally speaking, when you see this for grading companies, this is designated for stuff that is considered errors. Now, they can't call this an error because this wasn't designed for circulation. But that doesn't change the fact that the back of this does have a full offset print. And from what I hear, these are extremely rare. You just don't see the full offset printing on the back. So, the fact that it has been graded and the fact that it has been notated full offset on back means that it's not even for us to decide. That's what it is. It is a Giori test note with the full offset on the back. What does that make it worth? I couldn't tell you. I know what the regular ones are worth. I think it's easy to say that this is definitely worth more than the regular ones. So I guess it comes down to, what do I want to let it go for? So if you're interested in the Giori test note graded 64, I'm not going to call it an error because they don't call it an error. If you are interested in this note, this is item number 6. Like I said, the regular ones are from anywhere from $250 to $950. You know, this one, like I said, I don't know how to qualify that one. But I do know what I have in it, so I knew what I'd be willing to let it go for. We're going to go on item number 6. $225, $225, and it is yours. So that is this month's Buy It Now auction. I will put out a video within the half hour showing what the bids are and if anything is left. That way there's no controversy as to who got what when. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for doing this. Next month is the July, Christmas in July auction. I got some really cool stuff set up for that. Like, this stuff isn't really cool. Just once again, a reminder to you guys, I do my auctions the second Tuesday of every month, and they go live at 10 a.m. All right, guys, go to it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.